Hi guys, wish you all a very happy new year. I hope you guys have a great start to the new year. In today's vlog, I'm going to do a rust repair DIY, and this DIY is only for small to medium rust damage. If you have heavy rust damage, definitely you can't do this DIY because you'll have to do welding and all that. Now I'll just do the body filler in this DIY, so stay tuned. So these are all the things that you'll need for this DIY. First you'll need a body filler like this. It comes along with a hardener. This is the hardener for it. This is the Akai body filler. You'll need a second smooth body filler. This is from a brand called Paint. So once you apply the body filler, the next stage is to apply this Fill body filler. Now you can either use this Fill body filler or you can also use an NC grey putty. I'll show you that in the image below here. You can purchase that. Then you'll need a paint thinner. You'll need an 80 grit sandpaper. Then you'll need a 320 grit sandpaper. And then you'll need a spreader like this. So this here is the rust that we need to fix. As you can see, this area, it's pretty bad. So this is our work area here. You can see some bubbling around here. So this part will also worsen up with time. So you need to fix this area and this area as well. So we'll be sanding down this area and this area with 80 grit sandpaper. So let's do that now. Now if it's like this, it means that the job is not completed, because as you can see around the edges there is still some rust left. It should look like these edges where there is no rust after here. So you should keep sanding it down till all this rust is gone, and 1 inch away from this rust it should be clean. There should be no rust inside. As I kept sanding it down, it kept showing me more rust on the edges. So I'm going to keep sanding this down until all this vanishes. So finally we finished sanding it with 80 grit sandpaper. So this is how you should sand it down. You can see the base metal, then you can see the primer, and you can see the base coat and paint. And it's clean, there is no rust anywhere. It should be as perfect as this. We started with a small area and it kept growing as I kept finding smaller rust on the sides. So it kept growing and became very large. Now there's a big hole here also. We can fill this with the body filler. Now I'll show you what is not a perfect sanding as well. Now this is not perfect sanding because as you can see in the corners there is small rust which you can see in brown in color. The rust is between the base metal and the primer. So you need to get rid of this rust. Now as you keep sanding it down, this might grow further and you might come till here. You need to get rid of this, and then only it becomes a perfect sanding. Now the next step is to wipe it clean with some isopropyl alcohol.
Here we go.
Now the next step is to add body filler to the repairing area. Now the body filler that I got is Akai body filler. It comes along with the hardener. You need to mix the body filler with the hardener in the right ratio. I'll show you how to do that. So now let's open the hardener. So this is how the hardener looks like. You need to mix it thoroughly first. Now let's place it on a tile. Now after you take in the hardener, just apply a small pea-sized dot of the hardener. That's it. So just for this much filler, you need this much hardener. We now mix it in such a way that there's no air formed. You need to apply this within 4 to 5 minutes. Now we are going to apply the body filler on the repairing area. Next, just wait for 20 minutes for it to dry and then we can sand it down. I didn't do a great job with the body filler. It's actually a pretty horrible job. So I need to spend a lot of time now grinding it out with the 80 grit sandpaper. Okay, so let's get to it. Now when you run your hands from the old paint to the body filler, there shouldn't be any bumps or ridges. It should be seamless and smooth. That means you have done the job right. There's a slight imperfection in some areas, like you can see small holes here. So you need to fill these up. I have the comp paints filler, so we're going to use that to fill it up. So this is the comp paints filler. We'll be taking very light body fillers from here and filling up these tiny holes. And then we'll wait for 30 minutes to dry it up and we'll sand it down with 320 grit sandpaper. Okay, so the body filler is dry right now and the next step is to sand it down with the 320 grit sandpaper. Now before we get to the painting stage, if you guys enjoyed the content so far, please do consider subscribing to my channel, as it would encourage me a lot in making such DIY videos in future. So now let's get to the painting stage. Invincible. So I bought the car to the workshop for painting. So I'll be doing this work from the workshop itself. So I actually got the car paint matched to the color of the car. It's actually original MRF paint and the paint and hardener cost me around 1000 bucks for half a liter. So I'm actually getting this whole door painted because there's a small dent here as well. So I'm asking them to fix that also. It's not visible on the cam, but there's a small dent here. So I'm going to get this whole door repainted.
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah, we are
So finally the bodywork and the paint on my Warner is complete. Let me show you the results.
heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes.
So that's it for this DIY, guys. It was a fairly simple DIY because I just had to sand down the rust completely, and then I just filled it with body filter. Actually sanding down the body filler into shape with the contours of the body was difficult. The next step was applying primer and trying to paint it. Well, definitely that is not possible at home because I did not have an air compressor. I believe most of you won't have an air compressor at home, so definitely I didn't do that as a DIY. I took my car to my workshop and they just had to do the painting, which is very simple. It was just a one day's work. My painter was actually impressed with the work that I've done with my car. He was actually impressed when I told him that I did this for the first time at home, and all he had to do was then just sand it down a little bit more to make it perfect, and then apply the primer coat and then the base paint coat, and the work was done. So this complete work actually took 2 days. The first day was done by me at home, where I applied the body filler and then I had to sand it down with the sandpaper. And the next step was obviously applying the primer and the body paint. This was done at the workshop. Now the paint that I purchased for this work costed me around 1000 rupees. It was a half-liter paint which came along with the hardener and a thinner also. For the whole door you just need 100 ml of paint, so I actually purchased a little bit more, around 500 ml, so that was not necessary. And I had to pay the painters 2000 rupees because there are 2 of them working on my car, and they had to fill the other spots that I mentioned. And that was just not paint, they had to sand out the rust, apply the body filler and then paint. So obviously that was more work. So 2000 rupees for their labor, 1000 rupees for the paint, and all the other things that I purchased was around 1500. So in total I fixed my entire car free of rust for around 4000 to 4500 rupees. Yeah, so that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog and found it informative. If you did, please do hit the like button. Do consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't done already. And until next time, this is Stan signing out. Bye bye.